Hello everyone, thank you for being here on the last day of Ekka. Can you believe it? It's gone quite quickly from our perspective. I'm Laura Churchill, I'm the director of the Natural Fibres Fashion Parades, which I hope you just enjoyed. Part of my focus for this year's Natural Fibres Parades was to tie in a little bit more education and information around what are natural fibres, why should we buy them, what can we do with these wonderful versatile fabrics. The natural fibres have a long history of presenting the work of the best of the Queensland fashion designers using the natural fibres, including cotton, wool, linen and leather. Today we're going to hear from some of the designers featured in the parades about why they use natural fibres and how. From ladies' wear to menswear, even the gorgeous bridal gowns you would have seen in today's show, natural fibres are as versatile as they are varied. So to tell us more, please welcome to the Ekka stage Tengdahl designer Julie Tengdahl, wool valet designer Mark Ferguson and bridal designer George Wu. Welcome everyone and thank you so much for being here. I thought I'd ask you to tell our audience about the incredible collections they've just seen in the show, what fabrics you've used and why you chose those fabrics.
I guess I'll start. The fabrics we used today, it was actually a mixture of silk and wool. But obviously we love our wool, being in suiting. It's pretty much the only fabric I really like to use. And this particular product is an Italian wool, and the wools that are milled in Italy do have more of a luster to them, and that's why we use them. And they fall beautifully, and they really just work really well for the Queensland and Brisbane climate. So that's why I use the Italian wools here today.
You said milled in Italy, but I know Australian wool features in your collections as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So pretty much most of the wool that you'll see within suits are produced in Australia and then they're milled over here. We only have maybe one mill here in Australia, but it doesn't produce the high-end quality that we kind of need for the suiting. So the Italians are amazing at it, they have that skill set, but they use our Australian wool.
If anyone wants to see the collections of wool valet a little more closely, we have some pieces available in the natural fibres market throughout Ekka as well, so you can go and touch and feel the quality and fabrics also. And I believe we've got some of our models that have come around on the end of the parade as well wearing the wool valet also. So Julie, tell us about your beautiful collection.
Yeah, my collection's based around silk cotton and pure silk yayu, which is just a different way of milling silk and a little bit more crushed and suits our climate. It's a drier silk, and having the silk cotton is a beautiful combination in our heat.
The pieces you featured this year also just flow so beautifully. I'm sure that's helped by the gorgeous quality fabrics also.
Yeah, I think just my background in textiles, I just love the way fabric and the fluidity of the garment. So I'm sort of developing that a lot more, and the lovely stage of, the fact that as I'm getting older, I'm just enjoying that whole process of putting collections together.
How about you, George?
Predominantly, the bridal industry uses a lot of different pieces of fibre, but I always choose fabric and laces that have cotton or silk, sometimes wool content in it, but in the lace industry for bridal, there isn't much wool involved, mainly just silks and cotton. They're blending with different synthetic fibres, but I always think on the big day, you want to feel comfortable. You don't want to be cooked inside wearing a polyester. So I always thought comfort is an important key for your day. You're going to wear that dress from day till night. So I think natural fibre is the only answer.
The results are gorgeous. Everyone's been commenting on your bridal collection in particular this week. It's absolutely beautiful. Where do you source your fabrics? I know, George, you search far and wide for fabrics.
Yeah, sometimes a dress can take up to sourcing from 7 countries. But usually for one dress we need to get them in from about 4 countries: Italy, UK, France and Israel. Plus you have your Japan, America, many different places, sometimes from Hong Kong, China, but not so much because we're targeting on a higher end level. So I find the Chinese market are not creating a product that we want. It's an interesting exercise.
And different regions will specialise in different fabrics. Do you have go-to areas for specific things?
It depends what you want. Every country has their specialisation, like Mark was saying. When it comes to suiting, Italian have the know-how. So when it comes to embroideries, we source them from Italy. When we want Alonso or Chantilly laces, we source them from France, south of France. For tulle, it's either Italy or UK or US. Trimmings from Japan, zips, ribbons and everything. Swarovski from Austria. Many different countries.
It's part of the fun, I'm sure.
Yes.
I know, Julie, you're inspired so much by fabric in your collections. Tell us about your journey to find those as well.
Well, it starts with a journey or an inspiration, and then from there I'm doing my own textiles. So that's done on like Photoshop, and we're digitally enhancing those designs on Photoshop, and then you produce them onto silk.
So is that to get the result you want? Is it about just having the creative process from start to finish that you'll design your own textiles?
Having the creative process from start to finish, I think that's what's really, I'm embracing that. And you get just such a different result because the whole process, not that you need to control everything, but the process you can control it from the inspiration right to the end product to what you see on the collection on the parade.
Are there certain things you find work better than others? I'm sure it's been a process of refining those techniques as well.
Absolutely, that's why I work with natural fibres, because the way the silk and cotton absorbs colour, it's like no other. You can't do that on a polyester or man-made fabric. And of course the way it feels on the body, that's my market.
Absolutely. But Mark, I'm sure natural fibres are very important to your market, particularly in Queensland, where men need to suit up.
That's right. I mean, 98% of the people that we work with want natural fibres. There's some guys that like a little bit of polyester because they don't want it to crush and they want to wash it and those sorts of things. But when it comes down to it, wool's pretty much the only fabric I'll work with. I hate working with polyester or any synthetics. Wool, some of the linens and cottons we make in suiting as well. And we source some of the fabrics from, obviously, Italy, as I spoke about before, but UK, France, Spain, some from Japan as well. So a lot of the natural resources are here and then built elsewhere, and then they come back to us.
And when you're designing, does the fabric come first, or the design dictates the fabric that you'll choose? Start with you, George.
I start with a story, because when it comes to making bridal couture, if you design for a client, you've got to listen to what their day is about. Or if you're putting a collection together, you've got to really think about what kind of story are we telling. Then we go ahead and we're sourcing fabrics from different countries that resonates that. So that's how I work.
Julie?
Yeah, I'm the same as George. I work with a story and an inspiration and an experience that I've been through. So it might be a travel experience or something about nature or Mother Earth, and then I will develop a story around that. And of course then use the natural fibres, to print the fabric on.
Well, if anyone's been to the Will Valor studio in Milton, you'll see an incredible range of fabrics. I don't know how you help people narrow down the selection. Are your clients driven by fabric or driven by the design first and foremost?
It's definitely fabric, first and foremost. And when we look at a person, we look at their eye colour, hair colour and complexion. And then we actually don't present all the fabrics at one point because guys don't like too many choices.
No.
So there's some confusion when that happens. So what we do is we ask questions and we find out what they want, where they want to wear it, what the occasion is, whether we do a lot of weddings and those sorts of things, or whether they need something for the corporate. So we really work on making sure the natural fibres and the wools work for the personality as well. So, and then we present the fabrics and we design it from there.
Do you find you get any resistance to presenting wool in Queensland to your Queensland clients?
Some people, but generally there's just a small education process around that, and they trust in what we say, I suppose. So it's all about the natural fibres for us.
George, what do you find that brides are requesting? Are they educated about what fabrics they would like in their dresses?
No. Most people are not educated about the fabrics, and that's fine because it's not a subject that comes up in school. So when people come to us, we usually educate them as to why we use certain fabrics and the plus side of that. And I find that once people are educated, they know the differences between polyester chiffon to silk chiffon, and they'll understand the comfort factor, and that helps them to make that choice. whether it's the cost they're going for or it's the comfort that they're going for.
Julie, do you find that your customer comes seeking natural fibres in particular?
Absolutely, because it's a Queensland-based client, and even our international clients are looking at natural fibres because it is the top end of the market, and you know nothing else compares. It really doesn't.
I thought I'd get key tips from each of you as well about what you would share with people about what to look for when they're buying their garments, in particular about fabric, if you can relate that back to your own collections.
I guess I'll start. When it comes to your wool, you really want worsted wool. And so what that means is that it's actually basically crush proof. So you easily travel. And you want something that has that little bit of luster. It really creates that rich feel. It also feels really nice. So when you're looking at a wool, if it's got that little bit of silk and that little bit of cashmere in there, then the combination works really well. It feels great, looks great, falls great.
Beautiful. Julie?
It's sort of the same. It's just the way something feels, and that's having the luxury to try garments on, and I think that's really important to see if it fits your personality and your lifestyle.
They pretty much cover what I said, really. I think natural fibre is the only way to provide you the comfort. And also, we have a policy in workplace where we got to recycle everything as much as we can to really help the environment. So when you consume and you buy a piece of fashion, I think it's better if you stick to natural fibre, because when that item goes into the landfill, that will turn back into the soil. But if you're going to put a nylon or polyester shirt in that landfill, 100 years later, it's still going to be there. So for me, it's a more environmental issue.
It's such an important point, absolutely. We earlier in the week heard from Jane Milburn from Tengdahl and the Unmaterial girl, Leanne Lush, who runs a blog all about sustainability and upcycling as well, and getting more sort of purpose out of your garments. So really important, I'm sure you would agree. Well, as I said, all of our designers have pieces featured in the parade today, which there will be another parade up in about 10 or 15 minutes' time. But in the meantime, I'm going to invite our designers to come over to the natural fibre market, have some photos with our models, and any of you that would like to say hello as well. Please put your hands together and thank George Wu, Julie Tengdahl and Mark Ferguson for joining us today.